This episode is brought to you by Honda. When you test drive the all-electric Prologue SUV, there's a lot that could impress you about it. There's the generous passenger space, the clean, thoughtful design, and the intuitive technology. But out of everything, what you'll really love most is that it's a Honda. Visit honda.com/EV to see offers.
Whatever the occasion, effortless elegance is right this way. Because Hilton brings you new ways to stay courtesy of the Nomad London. And it doesn't stop at award-winning dining in a space draped in velvet and illuminated by vintage chandeliers. No, this day goes beyond with unparalleled personalized service and attentive hospitality. Oh, and did we mention the Nomad London can be booked using your Hilton Honors points at Hilton.com? Hilton, for this day.
This episode is brought to you by Indeed. When your computer breaks, you don't wait for it to magically start working again. You fix the problem. So why wait to hire the people your company desperately needs? Use Indeed's sponsored jobs to hire top talent fast. And even better, you only pay for results. There's no need to wait. Speed up your hiring with a $75 sponsored job credit at Indeed.com/podcast. Terms and conditions apply.
All right. Welcome to the Basketball Leadership Podcast. Coach, how are you?
I'm good. How are you doing?
I'm good. So I was chuckling about this topic before we came on. So I think I can answer it in about 2 seconds, but I don't think that's necessarily the road we want to walk down. So it says, today's topic is, what do players want in a coach?
Yeah, and I'll tell you where this came about. I write a lot on X, and one of the things I wrote, this is probably, I don't know, this is a year ago, over a year ago. What do coaches want in a player? And I had a list of, 6, 7 things that we look for in players. And someone replied and said, "Hey coach, how about what do players want in a coach?" I said, "Great idea." So I went to practice the next day and I asked my kids that. I said, "Hey guys, I just posted this yesterday. I want to know what you guys want in a coach." And they gave me 8 things in a matter of seconds. And so I went home after practice that night. I put up a new post. What do players want in a coach? I had a couple 100,000 impressions on it, and it was a pretty popular post. So here's what they told me. Number one, they want a coach that cares. Kids want a coach that cares. Seems pretty obvious. That's what they want. And I'll go through them quick, then we can talk. They want a coach that can have fun. And, have fun is obviously you're in business mode when you're in practice, but they can still joke with them and have fun with them. They want a coach that's honest. And I think, we've talked about this a lot. Brutal honesty with kids is really important, and with parents as well. I think where coaches get in trouble is when they're not honest, and especially with roles and things like that. And kids want honesty. They just want to know. They just want to know. They want a coach that's competitive. Kids want to win. They want a coach that wants to win with them, that puts them in the best chance to win and succeed. And I think that's a big one. The fifth one is passion. They want a coach that wants to be there, a coach that puts in time. And I think, kids see that when they see a coach going all in for the team, whether it's extra work, it's scouting reports, whatever it may be, they're going to work harder because they want that. Humor kind of goes with fun, but humor is having that sense of humor, a little bit different than keeping it fun and practice and things like that. They want a teacher, someone who's going to teach the game. And then finally, and probably the most important, it goes along with cares, but is someone who will build a relationship with them, much more than just a basketball coach, but someone that is going to, be with them for the long haul and get to know them as a person. And so I thought that was pretty insightful when I got it. And I think it's probably if I asked every team that every year, it's going to be pretty similar.
I think so. I think it would be pretty close. I think the foundation, and we've talked about this before, of any team is relationship.
Everything.
Like none of the rest of the stuff matters if you don't have a relationship.
Nope.
It's like if you're not like, it's same in the classroom. It's like, I can't, to be honest with you, half of them don't care about statistics.
They don't care how much you know until they know how much you care.
Yes.
I mean, that's
And then you can convince them of things and teach them things and, do those kind of things. I agree. So what do you think is the hardest on this list?
Well,
It might be humor, because there are some coaches that aren't very freaking funny, to be honest with you.
yeah, I mean, I think with humor, you just have to be yourself, and you got to be willing to be vulnerable. I think a lot of times when you're younger, it's hard to be vulnerable when you're younger. And maybe that's
Right.
pretty normal. I think as you get older and you get more confident with yourself, as who you are as a coach and a person, you can open up more with kids, and you can be more willing. At least I found myself more willing to be vulnerable and, be honest on how I'm feeling about something too. And I think that goes with humor. Like, I've given up some things, and I've showed my sense of humor more as I've aged.
Yeah, and the thing is, it's like you got to be vulnerable a little bit too.
Yes.
Like, I think, I mean, I would add that to this list a little. They have to see they're human, that you make mistakes, and when you make mistakes, you admit you made mistakes. I've done that last couple of years. I've said that's probably my fault. I'm sorry. That's me. Like, blame that on coach. Don't blame that on you. Blame that on me. Because that it goes back to a couple of things. It shows you care. It shows you're being honest. It shows you have passion. It shows you're trying to build a relationship, because you're like one thing like that can build triple 3 or 4. It can check a lot of boxes.
Yeah.
And a lot of people won't want. I mean, the authoritarian leader is like a dinosaur at this point.
Yeah, and you have to evolve. I did a podcast a couple of weeks ago with a guy, Colin Jonoff, and we had a great conversation. I mean, we talked for an hour, and really got into some deep concepts on coaching. And I mean, I talked about relationships a lot, but I also talked about standards. Like, as we have to have standards. And his comment was it caught me off guard, because he goes, in some regard, you sound like Bobby Knight, but you're totally the 180 of Bobby Knight in relationships. And I'm like, well, I've never been called Bobby Knight, and I never will. But I think what he was saying is you have to have high standards, and you have to have expectations, and you got to push kids. And there's nothing wrong with that. They all want that. They want that discipline.
It's like, and I'm telling you, the hardest conversations I had this season were the most impactful, and the showing them that I cared, that I wanted a relationship, that I love them, that I cared about them as human beings. It was more than basketball. It was like, and there's tears rolling. I mean, but it's like those. Trust me, that after those conversations, they knew I cared. It wasn't about me not caring. It was about me holding them to a standard, and it wasn't embarrassing them. It was them, and it was them. Both of the conversations were them and me in my classroom, period. It wasn't, no one was around. It was us having a discussion about them and about some things that they needed to do.
So I think what it reminds me of, and I think you'll totally agree with this, how you win, how you have success in life and basketball, the recipe for that hasn't changed.
Right.
The how has changed. The authoritarian, you listen to me, top down, which used to be kind of the model. That doesn't work.
Right.
But you can still expect things and have standards and do all the things that are needed, to be successful and win, and have incredibly close relationships with kids.
It's like having rules for your own children. It's like, here's your curfew, and if you miss the curfew, something's going to happen. It's not because it's no different. It's not me sitting at the front door screaming at you. When you walk in that door and you're 15 minutes late, then something's going to happen. It's like, and that's the thing. It's like, because no one, like I've always told young coaches too, I don't want my boss coming in and yelling at me. I mean, I'll have a discussion with them if they think I did something wrong. They're great. Let's have a discussion. But no one wants to be yelled at.
No.
And again, I always say there is that 1%, 3%. And this is the analogy I use. Child runs into street, you grab child, You scold child because
Yeah.
you thought child was going to get hit by a car.
Yeah.
When it's life, there are issues at which you need to do that.
100%.
I've had a few, and I've had those like hanging on the rim, chinning yourself up. It's like I will scream at that point.
Oh yeah.
If you fall, you could break your neck, and I do not want that. So there's always those.
Absolutely.
And that's what people don't understand. There's a difference. There's a safety. It's like my wife says with bullying. Like I used to do this in my class. I said, stop. Are you being bullied? Are you being threatened? Are you being that? Or are you just being someone just teasing with you? There's that line, and it's hard sometimes to know the line.
It's no different than parenting. And I think, we get in a whole nother discussion about this, but, there are times where you have to lay the hammer down, but you need to save those times and make them, when they happen, they have to be because it's something really, really important, safety issue. But it's okay to scold your kids when you need to.
Right.
But it's all in love, and it's all in getting them towards a standard that they need to be the person or the team they need to be.
Right. You're trying to make them the best team, best person,
Absolutely.
best thing that you can. Yes. It's
like dealing with your own kids. I mean,
100%. Yes, it's 100%. I don't want someone going off. I mean, and again, I coach my own son. It's like, I was probably harder on him, but I never screamed at him because I wouldn't scream at anybody else's kid.
Yep.
All right. Anything else, Coach?
I think that's good.
All right.
This podcast is part of the Sports Social Podcast Network.
Memorial Day doorbuster deals are here at Lowe's. Right now, rewards members save $80 on the Master Forge 4-burner gas grill, now just $149. Plus, rewards members save $900 on the Lowe's exclusive Hisense French door refrigerator, now only $999. Lowe's, we help, you save. Valid through 5/26. Selection varies by location. While supplies last. See Lowe's.com for more details. Program subject to terms and conditions. Details at Lowe's.com/terms. Subject to change.